I was once working at a fast food restaurant. Working there stopped me from eating from this place ever again. It's everyone's favorite spot to get burgers and fries, and it seems like no matter what people tell you, people still continue to eat because how cheap it is. But let's start with the customers. Always be nice to your servers because I had a couple of coworkers that would take the burger meat, rub it onto the floor, and serve it to the customers that came off rude. The restaurant had mice, and if they found something, they got to it. There was a particular day where I accidentally left out the burger buns, and the mice, of course, got to them. On my way to toss them into the trash, my manager stops me and says, "We're low on stock for the burger buns. We need to keep those." And they were served to multiple families. There's way more dangerous things that went down, but if you guys want me to disclose everyone's favorite restaurant, let me know down below if I should make a part. Part 2 of the most disgusting fast food restaurant I've ever worked for. And here's a couple of things I think you should know. The hiring process is super easy. You literally just gotta be 16. Okay, so back to the food. When it came to preparing food, the guys in the back that will prepare the food would never change their gloves. They would go from touching doors, cleaning things, to back to preparing food again. I'm pretty sure most of the food they made was contaminated. Our manager was the worst. She loved the food they had and sometimes would pick up a batch of fries with her bare hands and would just eat as she worked. Half the time when she got done with counting money, she wouldn't wash her hands neither. And y'all know how dirty money is. Now exposing the restaurant. I said if you guys comment down below, I might just tell you guys what fast food restaurant it was. But if this TikTok blows up, I do not want to get sued. Just know they make burger fries and they're the most popular fast food restaurant in the world.
Hello, my name is Lily. From the title, you can probably guess what I'm about to tell you. Get yourself ready, because what I am going to tell you is the scariest thing I have experienced in my life. When I was 16 years old, I was a girl who you could say was, okay, not outstanding, but eye-catching. It was a normal Saturday night like usual. I was lying on my bed, scrolling through my phone, watching movies, playing games, and FaceTiming with my friends. One of my friends suggested that I try using a trending dating app. The reviews say that this app can help find me new guys in my area. After a few scrolls, I saw a boy from the same school as me. He also used this app, and he had just joined a few minutes ago. Anyways, I clicked to see where he lived. I was a little surprised when it said that he was 0 meters away from me. I reassured myself with the thought that this might be an application error, because the app was new anyway. I swiped right. He's cuter in real life than in the picture, I thought. He swiped right too. I jokingly texted, "Hey, cute guy." He replied, "Hey there." I asked, "Can I get another picture of you? You look really nice." And he sent me a picture. I was a little startled because the picture looked pretty scary. His surroundings were dark with only light shining on his face. "Did you turn off the light and go to bed?" I asked. "No," he said. "I'm under your bed." A chill ran down my spine when I read those words. The comfortable bed I was lying in suddenly became cold and terror-inducing. "That was funny," I replied. With my hand reaching out to turn off the lamp, I felt like I was frozen when I saw that there was a tiny light emanating from under my bed. The light went out quickly. I screamed, turned the switch back on, and ran out. I closed the door, running along the corridor while screaming for my parents. Both rushed out of their bedroom. I said, there's something under my bed." My parents quickly took me to run into my sister's room, and the whole family hid inside. We called the police. I looked out the window and saw someone jumping out of the window of my room. When the police arrived, they started taking our testimony and using CCTV. They discovered that during the past 3 weeks, someone had come into my house through my room window every day at 7 p.m. when my whole family was having dinner together. It was terrifying. He covered his face and no one knew until tonight, when he ran out of my room in a panic. He dropped the phone. Guess what was on the standby screen of that phone? "Haha, that was funny," it said. My message. I was shocked and scared, and then I deduced that recently he was talking to me, trying to get to know me. Once, I just talked about craving Domino's pizza last night with a friend through FaceTime. The next day, he approached me, talking about doing a magic trick, and he guessed correctly. I wanted to eat Domino's pizza. All those memories made me shudder. That very same night, after contacting the police contacted my school and found my stalker's address. But upon arrival, there was no one. Police found many photos of me sleeping in the apartment and many other disturbing photos with him.
There was a girl named Jessica Phillips that went missing in my high school. She went missing in the middle of our junior year. When her parents came out about it, the school put posters up everywhere, alerts on the news. 2 weeks later, they decorated her locker. Ever so often, I see her closest friend weeping during class, and the teachers would excuse them out. The devotion of love she was getting after she went missing was outstanding. But the thing is, no one liked Jessica. Actually, everyone hated her. Don't get me wrong, she was the most popular girl in school, but she was an asshole. She was very nasty and rude and did anything to get what she wanted. I heard she once gave this boy Ronnie peanuts for not doing her homework anymore. He wanted to get into sports and didn't have time for it, and he was allergic to peanuts. The girl was practically a bully. Her friends were all followers that secretly hated her but wanted to be her. But it's crazy to see them all crying over her whereabouts when they all wanted her gone. But I know why she went missing. Come back for part 2. Jessica going missing didn't faze me. Actually, the days felt lighter when she wasn't there. Yeah, she was the talk of the town for weeks, but I'd rather that than to actually see her. And I know some might say I'm heartless, but Jessica did it to herself. So the night of Nicole's birthday party is when it all started. Nicole and Jessica were like frenemies. I mean, they were friends, but they were always in competition with each other. I'd say Nicole was the second popular girl in school. She was the first, but she dropped to second because she lost her boyfriend Luke to Jessica. He cheated on her with Jessica. I can say that's when the war started. Anyways, the night of Nicole's party, Jessica wasn't invited. I remember overhearing her during lunch that she was going to plan to crash and ruin Nicole's party. Pretty devious if you ask me. So the night comes and I go to Nicole's party. An hour goes by and I take a step outside of the side of the house to get some fresh air. I see Jessica creeping from the back. I say, "Jessica, is that you?" She looks at me and before I know when someone grabs her face and pulls her into the bushes. So the night Jessica went missing, I saw exactly what happened. She tried to sneak into Nicole's party, but she actually didn't get in. Not only because she wasn't invited, but she had got pulled into the bushes. When I ran to see where she was pulled, she was dragged by 2 guys into the streets. I was in shock and I stood there for a few seconds, but those few seconds, Jessica saw me. She screamed for me to help her, but I just stood there. They threw her into a car and drove off. I went back to the party as though nothing happened. After the party was over, I went back home and I kept replaying what happened over and over. Then that next Wednesday is when everyone started hearing about Jessica going missing. They said if anyone ever saw anything to come forward, but I decided not to. There were moments throughout the week where I felt like I should say something, but there were times that I felt like it was too late. I thought maybe she was dead by now and it'd be pointless for me to come out now. But everything changed when I got a message from a block number saying, "Why didn't you save?" When I was younger, I grew up with a cut on my face. It went down from my cheekbone all the way down to my neck. It was very long, the longest cut anyone has ever seen. When I was in school, teachers and students would ask, how did I get that cut or if it still hurt? I would tell them it didn't hurt, but I didn't know where the cut came from. My mom actually told me I was born with it. Some teachers would say, that doesn't look like a cut you were born with. I think when I got a little older to understand, I asked my mom again, how did I get this cut on my face? She'd say, as usual, you were born with it. But I don't know, I just had a feeling there was something she wasn't telling me. If I could, I asked my dad, but my mom told me that he passed away a couple weeks after I was born. When I turned 18, I finally went to the dermatologist to see what was up with this cut. They told me the cut looked as though someone cut me with a sharp object. Later that week, I went to my aunt's house and told her about my dermatologist visit. She broke down in tears and started apologizing. Come back for part 2. So after going to the dermatologist about the cut I had on my face my entire life, I went to my aunt about it and she broke down and cried. She apologized and told me that I needed to speak to my mom. She said she thought it would be best if she told me. So I went home a bit confused and I talked to my mom. I told her the dermatologist told me the cut on my face wasn't from something I was born with. My mom looked at me and said, I never told you because I didn't want you to feel bad about this family, your father, but When you were 3 weeks old, your dad did this to you. I said, what? What do you mean? He did this to me? Why? She replied, your dad was really sick. I cried and asked, why would he do this? She looked at me and said that he tried to get rid of you. We couldn't afford to take care of you. But I pushed him off of you before he could have did anything. She said my aunt had called the police. My mom and dad were fighting and they shot him and he died that day.